As Hurricane Milton approached the eastern coast of Florida, a man in Tampa, now widely known as Lieutenant Dan, became a viral sensation on social media for his decision to stay on his boat during the storm. His actions have sparked both fascination and concern online as he refuses to evacuate, despite the dangerous conditions forecasted by meteorologists. Lieutenant Dan first gained attention through an interview with content creator Terrence Concannon, where he explained his reasoning for remaining on his boat as the hurricane drew near. He expressed confidence in his decision, emphasizing that he and his vessel were well prepared to face the storm. In his view, staying on a boat during a flood seemed like a safer option than remaining on land, where rising waters posed significant risks. His belief that the boat would rise with the floodwaters, keeping him out of harm's way, resonated with some viewers, but it also raised alarms for others who feared for his safety. As Hurricane Milton intensified, with warnings of storm surges up to 15 feet and the potential for severe flooding across the Tampa Bay area, concern for Lieutenant Dan grew. Authorities in Tampa, along with local residents, made several attempts to persuade him to leave his boat. However, Lieutenant Dan was reluctant to part with his boat, which he regarded as his most valuable possession. In a live stream on October 8th, just one day before the hurricane's expected landfall, Lieutenant Dan indicated that he might be willing to leave the boat if he could secure a safe place to stay. The update offered a glimmer of hope for those who had been following his story, many of whom were urging him to evacuate before it was too late. Reports later surfaced on social media suggesting that the Tampa police chief had personally intervened. Reportedly, the chief managed to convince Lieutenant Dan to abandon his vessel and move to a shelter. These updates were met with relief by many who had been closely watching the situation, hopeful that Lieutenant Dan would finally put his safety first. However, just hours later, conflicting information emerged. A video posted on October 9th showed Lieutenant Dan reiterating his decision to stay aboard his boat, claiming once again that he believed it to be the safest place to ride out the storm. The declaration reignited concern among viewers, especially as Hurricane Milton began making landfall with high winds and torrential rain battering the region. Despite the escalating danger, another local, named Brian, who had been monitoring the situation, checked in on Lieutenant Dan, who was still aboard his boat, and appeared to be fine, despite some minor adjustments to keep his vessel secure as the storm worsened. Lieutenant Dan's decision to remain on his boat as Hurricane Milton ravages the Florida coast has captivated the online world, with many anxiously awaiting updates on his safety. As the hurricane continues its path of destruction, the question remains: will his determination to stay aboard his boat ultimately protect him, or will the powerful forces of nature prove too much to withstand?